In this video, we will build a responsive registration form just with plain HTML and CSS without any additional libraries. Here I already prepared an empty index.html. As you can see, we have just a body here with injected main CSS, and on the right is our main CSS. I don't have any specific CSS here, just some resets for all our elements and the background and display flags on body, so we will position our form in the center to see it better. And this is how our page is looking now. So first of all, we must start with rendering our markup, and actually here I highly recommend you to look on BAM. And if you don't know what is BAM, this is specific methodology how we can write CSS out of the box without any additional libraries. And it is called BAM because it is block, element and modifier, and you will see how we're using it in a second. If you want to learn more about what is BAM and how to use it, I will link a video here on the top so you can learn it deeper. So here is how we will proceed with our registration form. First of all, we will create here a div with class form container. And actually this is our block. Why it is our block? Because this is our unique name. And as you know, inside CSS all our class names are global. This is why we have problems. In some place we might create an element, for example an article, and then we want just the same name in another place, which actually means we will have name collisions, and we want to avoid this. And BAM is doing exactly the same. It helps us to avoid name collisions. As you can see, here is form container, and this is our block, so we're saying inside our markup that we have a unique block form container. After this inside, we want to write elements inside this block, and we're writing here div class form container -- details. And as you can see here, I used a specific notation to create an element. What is element? This is a child element of our block, which actually means form container is a block, form container details is a child element, and we're creating all our children of the block with the name of the block, then two underscores and the name of the child. And actually in this case all our classes are unique and they are isolated inside our blocks. Inside details we have first of all a title and then a subtitle. This is why here we're creating div class form container __ and here we can name it title, for example. Let's close this div and write here registration word. After this we can copy paste this div and write here not title but subtitle. And here is one more important point. We always use here the name of our block and not some other child. It is forbidden to nest child inside child, which actually means we never write title as a child of details. It is always the child directly of our block. Now here inside subtitle we must change the text. Let's write here, for example, welcome to Monsterlessons Academy. So the beginning of our form is ready. Let's write some styles directly here for our created elements. And first of all, we must create styles for our form container. So what do we need inside? First of all, here we must specify the maximum width of our container. And we can say here, for example, 450. And we can also write here width 100%. In this case, it will take the maximum possible value. After this, we must create here a white background. This is why background FFF, and here we also need padding. For example, padding 30 pixels. We also want here border radius, so our form is looking really nice. For example, border radius 10 pixels. And I also already prepared for us a box shadow rule. And as you can see here, we have RGBA for this color with these paddings. And if you don't know, you can find inside Google how to generate box shadows for your elements, and then you will get out of the box the line like this. Let's check if it's working. I'm reloading browser, and here we can already see our container. After this, we must write styles for our details, title and subtitle. So we're writing here form container, two underscores, and here is details. And inside here we must write a margin on the bottom because we want to have some indentation from our form. So here let's write margin bottom 40 pixels, and we also want to align our text on the center because this is title and subtitle. So here is text align center. Our next element is the title. So here we have our form container, two underscores title. And first of all, we want to change the color. So here will be color 555 Also, we want bigger font size, so for example 18 pixels, and also margin bottom, because we want an indentation between our title and subtitle. Let's say 7 pixels. Let's save this and check this out. As you can see, everything is centered, and let's check if the styles are applied. So here is our title with registration, but there are no styles here. And I already see the problem here. We put 3 underscores and not 2. This is obviously wrong. So here we must put only 2 underscores, and let's check if it's working. I'm reloading the page, and as you can see now, our registration is with correct font size and correct color. Our next element is subtitle. So here let's write form container, and in our case we have now subtitle. And inside we first of all want font size, also 18 pixels, and we want other color. And here we will have color 999. Let's reload the page. As you can see now, our styles are applied. So we successfully wrote styles for our details section. Now we must create our form. So after details, we can simply write form class form. Why I'm writing like this? Because in our application we have just a single form, and this name class is our second block. I'm naming it not registration form but form because it will be fully reusable across the whole application. So we will create with this block, for example, later login form or maybe article form. It is shareable. And here inside our class form, we want first of all to create our form field and then a label and an input inside. So here, first of all, inside we will have div with class, form, 2 underscores, and then field, which actually means this is our container for a single field. Let's close this div, and now inside we must create 2 more classes. First of all, we will have here form, 2 underscores, and here is a label. And inside we will write our name, so the name will be, for example, name. And after this we must create our input, so here we will have input, type text, but type text is not mandatory because it is there by default, and here will be class, form, underscore, underscore, and here is input. And let's close our input. Now we can copy paste this code several times because we have several fields. The next field is not name but email, and it is also form input, and the last one is password. So we can paste it once again, here change the label to password, but we also must add here a type, because type here will be password. And after all our form fields we have a submit button, so here we can write button with class form to underscore submit, because this is our child element of our block form. And obviously this is not div but a button, and let's write inside some text, for example register. But it is not all. After our form we have 2 links for the forgot password and for signing in. This is why after our form I want to create one more div, and here we will have form, container, and as you can see I'm using here word container and not form, underscore underscore, first of all line divider, because here we want to separate it somehow. And after this we want to create a container with the links, which actually means form container links. And this is important sharing of the knowledge. First of all, here we have form, and this form is reusable everywhere. But we also have here form container, and this block is also reusable, but it is not related directly to the form. You can use form without form container, and you can use form container without form. In this case here we are writing that this is a child element of our form container, and not form, because we can separate them. Now inside our links we can write here a href, and here for example just a hash, and we have here a new class. This is form container, 2 underscores and a link. Let's close a here and write inside for example login. Now let's copy paste our link and just change it from login, for example, to forgot password. As you can see, our markup is super readable and easy to support. Now we must write styles for all our new elements. First of all, here we have our form field, so here form to underscores field. And as you can see, I don't style our form block because we don't have any styles for it, but we still must write this form class because this is our block. So for form field, we must create margin bottom because we want to separate every single field. Let's make it 30 pixels. After this, we must tune our label. So here we have our form to underscores label, and inside, first of all, we must write font size, for example, 15 pixels, then font weight, 600, and we also want to change a color, for example, 777, and the last one is margin bottom to create separation between our label and our input. The next one is styling of our input itself. This is why here form underscores and here is input. And first of all here we must set width, this is 100%. Then we want a padding. Here will be 25 pixels and 15 pixels. We also want to remove a border, so here will be border 0. We also need to change a background, and here we will have F0, F0, F0. We need rounded borders, so here we will have border radius 5 pixels. And we also need a bigger font size. This is why here font size 18 pixels and other color. So here will be color 555 and also bigger font weight. So here we will use font weight 600, just like inside label. And last but not least is our submit button. So here we will have form to underscore submit, and here let's write styles for our button. First of all we will have background 037 EF3. After this we will have color, it will be just pure white. We will also use here font weight 600. We want here full width, so width 100%. We also need to apply here border radius 5 pixels. And we also want to have here padding 25 pixels and 15 pixels. We also don't need here border, so border 0. And we want to add here transition when we are hovering this button. So here I will write transition all 0.8 seconds. And last one is font size. So here we will have font size also 18 pixels. Now we will also need a hover effect for our button. So here we will write form submit hover, and here we just need another background. So here let's set background to 0271 DA. Let's check if it's working at all. I'm reloading the page, and as you can see this is how our form is looking like. First of all, here we styled our form field, so we have here margin, we styled our labels, and this is our inputs for name, email and password. And our button register is also styled with transition, but we don't have here cursor pointer. So let's add here inside form submit cursor pointer. Now it is looking really nice, and we just need to style our links on the bottom of our form. For this, first of all, we must style our divider. So here we will have our form, and then we have line dash divider. And here we will have our height 3 pixels. Now we want to change a background. We can use here exactly the same color, just like previously. We also want width, for example 30 pixels, and border radius. And in this case we want fully rounded borders, so 50%. And we also need a margin. In our case it will be 30 pixels auto to put it on the center. Now we must style our container for the links, so here we will have our form underscore underscore links, and inside we just want to set our elements on the left and on the right. And for this we can use display flags and just write here justify content, and here we will use space between. And last but not least, we must style our link, so here will be form to underscores link, and inside we need first of all font size 15 pixels, then after this font weight 600, and another color, it will be color 777. Let's check if it's working. I'm reloading the page and nothing is working. And as you can see, all these elements are actually from form container and not from form. So here we can write not form, but form dash container. Then here for links also form dash container. And the last one will be also form container link. Let's save this and reload again. As you can see, now it is nicely styled. So we have our divider here in the middle. We also have a login and forgot password links on the right and on the left. The last question that we have is our form really responsive? So let's try to make it smaller and check how it looks like. So it is totally fine, but on the small screen it can be better, because at least we must write here some padding. This is why here on the bottom I want to write a little bit of media queries. And here we can write max width, for example 600 pixels, so we're talking about small devices. And here we want to tune our form container. And I want to simply put here another padding. So here we can write padding 30 pixels and 25 pixels, and also another width. We want width 90%, so it doesn't take the whole width of the screen. And I also want to change padding for our inputs and our submit button. So here will be form to underscores input, and also dot form to underscore submit. and I want to change the padding here, so let's set it to 18 pixels and 15 pixels. And let's check how it looks like. I'm reloading the page and it is looking much nicer because we see now here background and it is a little bit smaller, and also the padding inside our buttons and inputs is a little bit smaller. So this is how you create a responsive form just with plain HTML and CSS. And actually, if you're interested to know how to create a Twitter page with plain HTML and CSS, make sure to check this video also.